So, welcome to my channel. My name is Blas, and this is my first attempt at an iceberg. And I decided to do it on the METALLICA Iceberg since Metallica used to be one of my favorite metal bands, and I still like going back on it because they're just, I don't know, they're classic. How can you hate them? Pretty sure everyone has a soft spot for them. So, to start, let's start with some context of who and what Metallica is. Okay, so for the people who have been living under a rock or don't like metal or are just here to hear me talk or whatever, Metallica is probably the biggest metal band ever. They have many great songs, and their first 4 albums are widely considered to be some of the best metal albums of all time. Metallica was founded by James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich in 1981, and the current lineup consists of James Hetfield on rhythm guitar, Lars Ulrich on drums, Kirk Hammett on lead guitar, and Robert Trujillo on bass guitar. Sorry, Robert, I love you, but the point of this channel is to help me overcome how stupid I sound, so let's begin. Dave Mustaine. So, Dave Mustaine was the original lead guitarist for Metallica, but never appeared on any of their official albums. Due to his drinking and his behavior while he was under the influence, he was fired and ended up being replaced with Kirk Hammett, Saint Anger / Lulu. So, Saint Anger and Lulu are widely considered to be their worst albums to date. Saint Anger departed from Metallica's signature sound, and they pretty much went nu metal in the album, which is weird because they're supposed to be thrash. Lulu was a collaboration between Lou Reed and Metallica. This was another example of them throwing away their sound. They do this a lot. A lot of people didn't like Lulu because there was no memorable riffs, there was no build-up, and no climax. So basically, it wasn't Metallica. Johnny Got His Gun. Okay. Johnny Got His Gun is a 1971 drama film written and directed by Dalton Trumbo, based on his novel of the same name. It made little money in the box office but became a cult film due to Metallica incorporating it into one's music video. Metallica ended up buying the film rights so they wouldn't have to keep paying royalties for each time the music video was played. So that's pretty cool that Metallica owns a movie. No Remorse riff in Doom. This one's pretty self-explanatory, so just listen. It's pretty cool since they're both things that I like. Load / Reload. Load and Reload are Metallica's 6th and 7th studio albums. From my research, Metallica didn't have an idea for Load. And then Reload was meant to complement Load, almost like a 2-part album. The album covers were created by Andres Serrano. The cover of Load was called Semen and Blood 3, which was cow blood, and Serrano's semen between plexiglass plates. So, yeah. And the cover of Reload, Piss and Blood 36, was similar, but this time it was with his urine. Covers, Garage Inc. and Live. Okay, so this is a entry that I was pretty surprised about. From what I found, Metallica has covered 77 songs across live shows and their cover album Garage Inc. They covered famous bands such as The Misfits, Black Sabbath, Korn, Diamond Head, Motorhead, and many more. Like, holy crap. Just wow. The Napster controversy. I'm not going to go fully in depth, but Metallica vs. Napster Inc. was a 2000 U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California case that focused on copyright infringement. Metallica's drummer, Lars Ulrich, read testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee accusing Napster of copyright infringement. So, yeah. Master of Puppets' odd time signature. There's a mystery note in the main riff of Master of Puppets. From what I gathered, most people assume the time signature is 3/4 or 5/8. I don't play guitar, so I might sound dumb. And the explanation is that James Hetfield didn't understand time signatures at the time, and So what he did with the guitar was purely just to, in his words, freak people out. I'll put a better explanation from somebody else in the description below, so yeah. Original logo. This is very vague. I'm thinking the entry pertains to their normal Metallica logo, as in their name. The origins of that. So it was created by James Hetfield, and they kept it because it looked cool. Early demos. No Life Till Leather was recorded on July 6th, 1982. It is Metallica's most popular demo. It contained early recordings of tracks from Kill 'Em All. The Ron's Garage demo was recorded in Ron McGovney's garage during March 1982, but never officially released. Until bootleg variations plopped out of nowhere. Jason Newkid. This entry refers to Jason Newsted, who replaced Cliff Burton, the original bassist, after his unfortunate passing. I remember a little bit about this topic. I don't remember if it was one of the band members or the fans, but they gave Jason the nickname New Kid because they didn't really like his style of playing. I think it might have been one of the band members. Anyway, Jason was with the band from 1986 all the way to 2001. Jason bass solos on 5.98 EP. Okay, I'm guessing this entry refers to this being the recording debut for Jason Newsted, and it's notable for the song Helpless that has an extended bass solo for Jason. Green Red the Lightning. In 1984, the French record label Burnett Records misprinted the color of the album in green. 400 copies had the green cover and it became a collector's item. Sweet Home Alabama and Four Horsemen. The bridge in the Four Horsemen was directly derived from Lynyrd Skynyrd's Sweet Home Alabama, according to Dave Mustaine. Listen. And Justice for Jason. This entry refers to a remixed version of And Justice for All, but with audible bass lines. I actually really like this version, and there will be a link in the description for the full album. So, I'm at a part in the iceberg where things start to need more of an in-depth look, and things are harder to find. So there's gonna be some topics where I have no idea what they refer to, or I just can't find anything on it. So anyway, if you're watching this far, because most people don't, thank you for watching. Let's get back into it. Anvil and Bell Tolls. So the bell at the beginning of Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls isn't actually a bell, but an anvil being hit by a hammer. So that's pretty cool. I never noticed. Metallica fan remaster community drama. I couldn't find much about this entry. It was a bit too vague for me, but I'm assuming that it's referring to that time in 2019 when Ron McGovney stated to his superfan on Twitter that James wrote almost all the riffs in Kill 'Em All, except the main riff in Hit the Lights. Gun in The God That Failed. From what I gather, and after listening to the song myself, you can hear a faint gun in the song. All the links I found led me to a deleted YouTube video. I don't know what that was all about, but I'm assuming it was maybe sorta about the making of the song. And in my research, I found that James Hetfield used a lever action rifle to make the sounds for the song. So, Piano and Sanitarium and Keyboard Fade to Black are extremely vague entries, and everything that I found on them just led me to YouTube videos on how to play them on those instruments. Lloyd Grant. Lloyd Grant is a Jamaican guitarist who played the second lead on the Hit the Lights demo, but technically he wasn't considered an official member. Echo Brain. Echo Brain became known as the first offering from Jason Newsted after he left Metallica. Presidio Sessions. The Presidio Sessions is the name for the demos recorded in the Presidio. Many songs were featured in the film Some Kind of Monster. The sessions were abandoned when James returned to the fold in mid-2002. Best Ballads Album. This is a pretty self-explanatory entry. It's basically a compilation filled with ballad-like songs from Metallica. It contains songs such as Nothing Else Matters, One, and Fade to Black. Alternate lyrics for Sanitarium and Jump in the Fire. Only Thing is the demo that combined both Orion and Sanitarium. It had different lyrics, which were a verse and a chorus repeated. They talk about a god with sacrificial traditions and a false sayings of this god being represented as an ally. Jump in the Fire's lyrics were originally very sexual, talking about moving hips and how good certain things fit. Anyways, James rewrote the lyrics because Dave was really horny for some reason. Manga. The entry is very vague, and I have no idea what it's talking about. From some sources, it talks about a small manga that was written during Injustice for All while the band was touring in Japan. But I'm not too sure about that, and I couldn't find anything on that. So I found this manga called METALLICA, I think that's what it's called. The synopsis is, in a world where rare metals drive the economy, Mania, the people who seek out these metals at the risk of their own life, are highly respected. A strange boy called Ruka has wandered destructively into the failing town of Fiza, declaring that his goal is to be a Mania. He ends up under the surveillance of a village girl, Shella, whose little brother is sick from a poison gas accident in the town's now closed mine, but there may be more to the situation than meets the eye. Alternate demo titles. Some alternate demo titles are Whiskey Audition Tape, Power Metal, Metal Up Your Ass, and Megaforce. Death Magnetic Guitar Hero remasters. Fans complained that Death Magnetic was too loud and the mixing was kinda bad, and that Guitar Hero had the superior versions of Death Magnetic, which I think is kinda funny. Fade to Bluegrass. Fade to Bluegrass is a bluegrass tribute to Metallica, made by Iron Horse. Bluegrass is a kind of country music influenced by jazz and blues, so it's an interesting take on Metallica. Cancelled Damage Inc. video game. It would have been a game that featured Metallica and was in development by Black Label Games. It was to be a racing game that was inspired by Twisted Metal and Mad Max by the looks of it. It also would have contained original music done by Metallica. I'm gonna try to find a video on YouTube that talks more about it, and there'll be a link in the description for it. Mastertarium. In some live performances, Metallica would combine Master of Puppets and Sanitarium and make Mastertarium. That's it. That's the entry. Bell Tolls intro originates from Trauma. This was another vague entry, but I'm sure this relates to the novel of the same name written by the legendary Ernest Hemingway, for whom the bell tolls was written as a coping mechanism after the trauma he experienced in the Spanish Civil War. This was the most vague entry yet. You know how many bands are named Unnamed Band? I don't understand. Did you know there's an unnamed band Brazil? What does that mean? Is that where the other Metallica members go after they leave? Bleak House. Bleak House was a British heavy metal band formed in 1972. They are best known for the song Rainbow Warrior, which gained fame due to its similarities to Welcome Home Sanitarium. Spastic Children. This entry is pretty cool. Spastic Children was the brainchild of Fred Cotton. They were a punk band that never recorded any material, but gave its members a chance to have fun on stage. Wedding Band. The Wedding Band is a supergroup band side project of Kirk Hammett. Hardwired CD set meant to replicate two-sided LP. I'm going to take an educated guess and assume this is referring to the set coming with two CDs. Raiden Masters Sharp Tuning. This entry refers to when people try to play certain parts of these two albums, it always sounds off. It began to make people think that these albums are actually out of tune. CJ Ramone asked to replace Jason twice. This entry is pretty self-explanatory. It would have been cool to see him in the band, but he declined both times due to the health of his son. Jimi Hendrix lyric in Through the Never. The lyrics "On Our Home, Third Stone from the Sun, yeah, is taken from the Hendrix song, Third Stone from the Sun. Kirk childhood dog incident. So just a warning, this entry is kind of messed up. So in an interview, Kirk Hammett was talking about how a memory he recalls when he was a kid, and in his words he says, "I went to my neighbor's. The guy took down his pants and started having sex with the dog. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. When he got up, I just took the dog and left. She was still wagging her tail." So yeah, I researched Master's second solo confusion and a Master of Puppets and Neil Peart connections, and I just can't find nothing. Nothing at all. Obscure musical influences is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to go into it. Lars 79 Revisited compilation reveals plagiarism. A lot of people believe that For Whom the Bell Tolls sounds a lot like Angel Witch's Angel of Death. I sort of hear it, but I personally don't believe it. Justice demos D on riff tapes. The demos of And Justice for All were made in D sharp, however it's assumed that over time the tapes warped over to D. I am not too sure about this. Godflesh is Kirk's favorite band. This entry refers to Kirk apparently saying that Godflesh was one of his favorite bands and that their music is unbelievably crushing. M.I. Blood. I think this entry refers to the band M.I. Blood. The band is well known for being mistaken for Metallica. The Other New Song. The Other New Song. It's a Metallica song, and I hate it. The link is in the description. Industrial Tribute Album Series. I might have to check this out. A series of albums containing various artists that make industrial covers of Metallica songs. Meaning of Metallica. It's the Latin word for metallic. I couldn't find anything else. Kirk nearly became a heroin addict. This entry is pretty self-explanatory, but to elaborate a little more, during the Saint Anger era, Kirk was having some mental things going on and decided to use drugs to cope. Fortunately, after his first taste, he dropped it. Thank God. But honestly, I can't blame him. If I was making Saint Anger, I would probably do heroin too. James is a fan of Bathory. So apparently Jonas Akerland, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name, who helped found Bathory, stated artists like Marilyn Manson, Billy Corgan, and members of Metallica listen to Bathory. I don't know how trustworthy this guy is, but that's what he said. Okay, to get the last three entries out of the way. The pole position arcade cabinet present in Black Album rehearsal room. I found no evidence of this. So, yeah. The original band name suggestions included Nixon, Dumb, F-Word, and Thunder, F-Word. I found no evidence for that either, and plus it's self-explanatory, so I don't need to explain it. And Justice for Gore, a gore and noise tribute to Metallica, is basically what it sounds like. It's a mix of death metal, gore, grind, and grindcore styled Metallica songs. I actually gotta look that one up too, that sounds pretty cool. And that concludes the Metallica Iceberg. This is actually my first major video on this channel, so I'm proud of that, and I'm also proud of the editing and the time that I took to explore these entries, even if a lot of them I didn't know. Or not a lot of them, but some of them I didn't know. But I'm pretty sure this is going to go on the internet, so there's probably going to be some people that are going to help me out in the comments or correct me or tell me that I'm stupid and I should probably end my life. So, I don't really mind. If you watch this far, it isn't that long of a video, but if you watch this far, thank you. I don't know what else to say. So, thanks for watching, and have a good day.